The Jeff situation.
Yeah, Jeff, David.
Have you seen the video
Which one?
of Jeff like getting hurt?
Yeah, I watched the whole documentary that like the episodes that he released.
Yeah, that's what you meant in it, the Jeff situation.
Yeah.
I
So
swear there was another situation with what's his name, Dirty Dom.
oh yeah, well that was the original situation involving him.
Yeah. So what happened? So there was skydiving or something in it. What was it? Skydiving. Do you know what I'm on
No. He
about?
was doing Scott.
You
But
watched the whole documentary, yeah. So if
are
you
you on
watch
about
the
when
whole
Jeff got injured originally?
no, not when he got injured. I'm talking about like prior to that, they were doing skydiving, weren't they?
Yeah, they were doing. Yeah. He was trying to get his
And
skydiving license.
they were doing 5 jumps a day.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to start off with. You really need that many jumps to do skydiving. And then, oh man, I saw. Have you seen the clip of Jeff
Yeah,
getting
when he
injured?
swings off the. So what were
The
they?
truck.
They were using like kind of like a JCB thing where you can swing it about a truck, a digger,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they had a sort of elastic thing swinging off of it, and Jeff was on it. And it was spinning essentially. It's hard to explain. And I remember. Do you know what was interesting about it? So originally, Corinna went on it first, and
hmm
he took it too far, and even she got off, and she said, "No, David, you're taking it too far.
You're
Like steps.
crazy and all
Yeah,
that,
you're
innit?
crazy." And however, proceeds to go even harder when Jeff's on it, right after he's just heard what Corinna said, and then boom, Jeff is missing an eye.
And the thing is, they went further out as well, didn't they? They took the Zigger all the way out into the sea.
Yeah,
Oh, that incident was nasty, man. I saw it. You could tell how fast he was going.
and for someone with Jeff's background, like the way you saw the emotion he had, it was mad. Because do you know the part of the documentary where he sits there, he's looking in the mirror in the gym, and he's basically about to
Mm,
cry. I was
yeah,
like
yeah.
proper. It was a sick documentary. But would you feel on the fact that everyone sort of just still let David Dobrik get away with
Get
this
away
stuff
with
like
it.
that? Yeah,
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. That's what he's like, isn't he? He's managed to like get his way
wriggle his
with it.
way out of it. Yeah,
Do you reckon he should have been cancelled for it? And the other thing.
I don't believe in. I don't really like agreeing like canceling and the whole thing. I remember me and Jay did a podcast like a year ago on
Mm.
cancel. It was cancel culture. Like, there's no point in it. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's the exceptions, right? Like the EDP situation and this
hmm
Dobrik situation. Who spoke to him? I think it was uh, Jeff's most recent video. It's cause a lot, Jeff's videos at the barbershop, they're skits, so they're all, about 80% is scripted. He said
Yeah.
in it, I spoke to David. David said the vlogs are never coming back. So I think but David said it in his apology video that he's taking just a break. I don't know. What do you think? Obviously, he should be cancelled. That's not a question. But do you think he will be? Like, will he ever return?
I think he's lost his main audience, definitely.
Main
You
audience? Or do you reckon like that those main supporters just always stay no matter what?
Yeah, because nothing's the same apart from all the giveaways and all that stuff. Since he stopped vlogging, what did he turn into? What do you call it? He tried to make himself an actual celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Aside from
Oh,
YouTube,
with those podcasting goes.
he was given a show, wasn't he?
No, it
Regardless
wasn't.
of the
No,
podcast,
it
he was given
wasn't.
a show.
Was he? I remember
I'm
the
not
whole thing
sure
he was
what
doing
show
with
it was.
Jason. The podcast and the whole thing was like that Jason isn't getting to go on it properly.
Yeah,
Remember?
exactly. He pushed Jason to the side.
Well, he was just taking everything for himself. The whole cake, taking all the cake.
You know what he wants to be? He wants to be the next Jimmy Kimmel or something like that.
It's
You know
hard
what I
when you've
mean?
had such a scandal. This type of scandals, defo put
He wanted
a
you know
roadblock.
what he wanted? You know, for the podcast, he
Yeah,
tried to make it one of those late night TV shows. You know what I mean?
he he su- he was succeeding, to be honest.
Yeah, but I don't think he did it in the right way
It's
because
because he lost like the sort of the
respect.
people. Yeah, people used to admire him and respect him, but I think when he pushed Jason off, it is a big disrespect. It's like imagine Chunks just completely push Darkest Man to the side. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
how would you? I think no one would have that. No matter how much you love Chunks, you'd be like that. But Darkest is part of the package. So
I mean, like Without Jason, David would not be where he is at.
Hun- but
100%.
Ja-
100%.
I think people just forget that, yeah, the channel's David, he gets all the revenue, but
You know where David would be?
where
He would be with Gabby Hanna right now.
do you reckon?
Yeah, and you know how bad it's going for her.
She,
She thinks she's in her like own like world and whatnot, yeah, but in reality no one likes her. Barely anyone likes her because she's so self-obsessed with herself, man. It's cringy, you know what I'm saying? And
well, okay,
I think
this is a crazy question. Not a crazy question, but interesting question. You know H3H3, yeah?
yeah.
So how do you feel? Okay, this whole David Dobrik situation, everyone wanted his sponsors, everything to be cut, which I agree with. So how do you feel that H3H3, they pumped out so many videos, right,
So
on
many,
that
oh my
situation
god.
and earned a lot of revenue off it. How do you feel? What do you think? Is that's do you think that's immoral? Or do
I
you think
think
the
yeah,
game's the game?
obviously it's not ethical, but that's the game, isn't it?
The game's the game, you think?
The game is the game,
Even
and
with those
honest,
situations though.
I mean, what they to be honest, they gave a perspective that you won't be able to find on YouTube, and everyone agreed with them.
Well, it's because Trisha was there and Trisha knows
100%.
the way
And
they act. You know, for as
Trisha is
much as
not
people
neutral.
dislike Trisha, she she's the only like one of the few people who can give that insight on David, whether it's biased or not. We all know to a certain degree what David's like.
I would
Like
say
we
it's too biased, though. I would say it's
oh no,
too biased
definitely
because
hate yeah, she
she's got a
hates him,
lot of
yeah.
personal problems.
Yeah,
And
she definitely
you
hates
know
him.
what? You know what? If you would confront her about the bias problems she has, she would just deflect it with her mental illnesses, which I don't like. You know what I mean? Because of
Mm.
mental illness aside, an opinion is an opinion. No one forces you to tell you what you think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And
I get that. I get that.
yeah, and you know what? H3H3 was very clever in terms of how to produce the
Yeah,
content.
just literally maximizing basically maximizing his
How
profit.
popular did Frenemies get? It became so
I
popular.
didn't know it was a thing before David.
I know. I think H3H3 puts on a lot of front. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I definitely think he did. I lost a lot of respect for him.
I
You
did.
know, do
I
you know
did
a
as
funny
well.
story about him? Though? There was a story
Mm,
about. You remember he was friends with Post Malone?
yeah.
Apparently, he doesn't like Post Malone anymore because they knew each other. But what happened was Post Malone just didn't contact him or message him, and so just ghosted him basically. So he
I
said,
think that's because he continued with his own content. You know what I mean? He used to have Post Malone there all the time, didn't he?
yeah, there was like best
And
mates.
suddenly his views changed a lot since he began with Trisha,
I
and
think
that's what
it's when you
affected.
see the negative content, like I remember
Mm.
commentary channels can be funny, but you know when they can get to a point where I don't like the word
When they just
toxic.
start critiquing, you know,
Yeah, it's just like everything you can't, certain channels just can't do anything.
and then it turns into a Keemstar little podcast. You know what I'm saying?
I can't
Where
stand it.
he's blurting out the news and no one likes him.
Yeah, literally. Like people don't want to see that, and people don't want to be surrounded by that. I think that's what Post Malone left. Post Malone. Imagine you're an
Mm,
artist, right? He's
a
this one
very
of the
famous
biggest
artist.
ones. Yeah, you have to surround yourself with the right people. In your opinion, if you think they're the right people.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I think H3H3 he's quite manipulative. You know,
Oh yeah, 100%.
I really used to like him. You know what he was? He was like a Cody Cole, wasn't he?
Yeah,
And he's changed a lot since he's
they,
had
they
Trisha
they
on.
say Cody Code changed a lot as well
I
because
disagree. Cody Cole's the same.
no, as in like he's taken it down a little bit. Like
Yeah. But that's because. Oh, then again, do you remember that thing that happened with Jake Paul and Jeff?
yeah, that was hilarious. Like
I found that
because
funny.
in my eyes, Cody came out on top in my eyes
Yeah, I see that as well.
because this is only Jason was the only person in the room that understood this joke. I think Jeff didn't even clock at the time. Jake goes, you're bullying little kids," and then no wait, what did he say? He
He
said, "Oh
did
yeah,
say that. He said you're a
yeah,
cyber bully.
yeah, you just cyberbully little weak kids online or something." And then do you know what Cody's response was?
Mm-hmm.
"I'm sorry, man, I won't do it to you again." Like it's something like basically trying to say like calling him the cyber. It was calling him the kid. It was like the funniest thing. And Jason clocked.
The
Then
thing
Cody
is,
came on top.
Jake Paul is sort of hypocritical on that, man, because I swear down he was known to be a bully in high school, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, allegedly.
Do you reckon that was just for getting them both on?
Jeff's fault. Yeah, well, it was Jeff's fault. Jeff planned it. So definitely
Yeah.
Jeff's fault.